Yo, we got a couple more practice problems here with absolute value equations. Well, let's start with number one. So remember, the first thing we want to do is get that absolute value, get it by itself. So we've got to get rid of that pesky plus 7, so we'll subtract 7 on both of the sides. All right, which leaves me with exactly what I want, the absolute value of 3k minus 11. And that's just the absolute value there. Plus 7's gone now. And on the other side, I have 35 minus 7, which I think is 28. All right, and then this is the part where we split it up into the positive and the negative. So when we have that absolute value by itself, then I can do 3k minus 11 equals a positive 28, and 3k minus 11 equals a negative 28. And I'm going to have to solve both of those, okay? I tried to put a squiggly line down it, but that squiggly line looked kind of funky. All right, so on the left side, let's do it. Let's solve for k. So I've got to get rid of minus 11. We do that by adding 11. And I've got 3k's equal 28 plus 11 makes 39. And we get rid of that multiplication there using division, and k equals 13. So there's one of my solutions, k equals 13, and I have another. Let's add 11 on this side, because that's the inverse of subtract 11. Boom, boom. 3k equals negative 28 plus 11 makes, I think it's negative 17. And the way I do that is I just take the difference of 28 and 11, and the difference of 28 and 11 is 17, and it takes the sign of the number with the bigger number there, 28, you know, the absolute value of 28 is bigger than 11. Cool, I'm getting off topic. Here we go. And then so now I need to divide by 3. So when I do that, I get k equals negative 17 thirds. And I'm leaving it as it is. So there's my two solutions, k equals 13 and k equals negative 17 thirds. All right. I was talking really fast there. But, you know, you got a good example there in front of you. Number 2. So same thing, we got to get the absolute value by itself, and we're going to do that by subtracting that positive 2 out front. All right, so that leaves me with the absolute value of 5m plus 9 equals 51 minus 2, which is 49, and that's when I get to split it up into the positive and negative piece. So I'll have 5m plus 9 equals positive 49, and I'll have 5m plus 9 equals negative 49, okay? Whew, all right. So let's solve both of these. Inverse operation, subtract 9, 5m equals 40, and divide, and m equals positive 8. Another solution over here, subtract 9, and 5m equals negative 58. All right, and divide by 5, and we get another fraction answer. Negative 58 fifths is one way to do it. Or I could say, or we could call it negative 11, because 5 goes into 58 11 times, and there will be a remainder of 3. So either one of those answers is equivalent. So there's my two solutions over there. On the right side, we've got, oh look, the absolute value is already by itself for us. That's great. So I can skip to the next step, which is writing the positive equation, positive 2, and writing the negative equation, 1/3 y plus 4 equals negative 2. All right, so that's cool. I'll have to subtract 4, and that gives me 1/3 y equals 2 minus 4 is a negative 2. And then to get rid of 1/3, but there's a fraction there. Man, you could think of that, when you have just the denominator of the fraction right there as a 3, you could think of that as dividing by 3. Okay, it's multiplying by 1 because there's a 1 on the top, and it's dividing by 3 because there's a 3 on the bottom. So the way we undo divided by 3 is using times 3, multiply by 3. Those are inverses, and I got y equals negative 2 times 3, which is negative 6. And you can check your answer to make sure it works, and I hope it does. Over on the right side, subtract 4, and I got 1/3 y equals -6. And remember, that's like saying divided by 3, so we'll undo divide by 3 by timesing by 3. The inverse operation, y equals -18. So there's my two solutions for number 3. Now number 4, the absolute value isn't quite by itself, so we've got some work to do. So we got to get that absolute value by itself. That means I have to undo this multiplication where I'm multiplying by -1/2. And like I said earlier, when you have that fraction there, it's really like saying I'm timesing by 1 and dividing by 2. So I'll undo dividing by 2, well actually -2, dividing by -2. To undo that, I'll multiply by -2. I'll multiply by -2. So remember, when you see that fraction there, because there's a 2 in the bottom, we'll undo that 2 in the bottom by multiplying by 2. Actually, -2. Boo-boo, boo-boo. So I have the absolute value of p plus 3. That's p plus 3 in the absolute value bars. Equals negative times the negative makes a positive 30. And I have to split it up into p plus 3 equals positive 30 and p plus 3 equals -30. Subtract, because that's the inverse operation. P equals 27. Subtract, and P equals blah, 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 -33. All right, so there's 4 examples. Boom, that looks good.